Hello on the Rockers. On this week's episode, we are talking self-empowerment, finding your identity, reality TV, and much more with our multimedia personality, not without controversy. Courtney Stodden is here with my guest co-host, comedian, podcaster, and adult film star Sylvia Sage, with me, your favorite host with the sassy most. Raise a glass and let the drinks begin.
And most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Ooh, listen to that applause, girl. Buttons and bows and pantyhose, On the Rocks podcast, a place where we're too glam to give a damn. Okay, I worked an event in Palm Springs this last weekend. Thank you for having me, IBC 2022. Somebody came up to me and they said, I love listening to your podcast. I watch it and listen to it all the time, even though you're a real bitch in real life. First of all, sir, thank you so much.
I was going to say, they're not wrong.
Yeah. Second of all... Thank you so much. No, I'm not a bitch. There's a fine line between being sassy and being a bitch. And I think this man was doing a few fine lines of his own, if you know what I mean. But if you are a listener and you see me at an event, please come up. I'll probably buy you a drink. And I am very friendly, so I'm sorry that there's that notion out there. But today we are going to address people's assumptions and how they meet you and things that they assume about you just from your entertainment or from even your Instagram. But like us on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air, and on Facebook, On The Rocks Radio Show. Send me an email, book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Again, that's info at ontherocksradioshow.com. The show is presented by Straw Hut Media. You can watch and or listen to our now almost 300 episodes at ontherocksradioshow.com. You can watch us on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, on the Outlet.tv app, Facebook Watch, Streaming with Pride on SVTV, and on Channel 31 on the East Coast, 4 times a week, by the way. So sorry, East Coast. The show is brought to you by FanDaddies.com, bringing you the sassiest and classiest clacking fans and hats for prides, EDM parties, sassy selfies, and even sci-fi nerds. Help those small businesses. Head to FanDaddies.com. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Please let me welcome.
I'm like, can you breathe?
No, I'm
My
so excited.
God.
I'm very, very excited. Please let me welcome my guest co-host for today. Sylvia Sage is LA's token sexy funny lady. She came to LA 8 years ago to fulfill her dream as a stand-up comic and is known for her hilarious antics where she explains the wild life she created for herself as she struggled to find her new identity in the big city. With no clear direction, she stumbled her way into adult films and found a way to support her dreams. She spent the last 8 years as an adult film actress with numerous MILF of the Year nominations, even though she's younger than your mom. Sylvia knows how to play any fantasy. Yes, she does. You can find her performing all over the U.S. as a headlining comedian and a regular at the world-famous Laugh Factory and on her own podcast, Sexy Funny Raw, telling her story of homelessness to becoming her own hero. She has no problems running her empire as a self-made cha-ching millionaire. Please welcome Sylvia Sage.
Thank you. Thank you. I also love the photos you guys picked out. Nicely done. Thank you.
I mean, let's just be honest. Your gram and your whole social media, you got some hot photos. Do you do a photo shoot like every week?
I do a photo shoot at least every month, and I use my one and only photographer that I've used for years and years and years, and he just knows my body and knows my poses. And
even the color
best.
tones.
Yeah, he's the best.
And with as many photo shoots as you have, it's always like you're always mixing it up while maintaining your brand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, have you run out of like places to pose and things to do?
Oh, well, I will say, so this last one was in my apartment, but usually we'll get a studio. So it's like in my apartment every like 4 shoots or so, just when I get bored of like going places. Because when we go places, you have to rent by the hour. So it's always like a rush. You know, you have like 4 outfits. And you just have to like run through everything. So I prefer a little bit more lax where I can get high. And
Well, and I've been to your apartment many times, not since you've moved though.
Right.
But I do know from the way that you are, that is a clean house.
Oh, for
That is
sure.
top of the line furniture.
Yeah.
That's some artwork.
Yeah, I actually had people come over today because my landlord is selling our building, so they were like doing a like estimation of what the property is or whatever.
Like, well, you just bumped that value up.
They walked into my apartment and they were like, "Does do you live here?
It's always model quality.
Yeah.
And like you'll have people over unannounced at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I know. And it's like spotless no matter. There's like one sock. And you're like, it's such a mess.
It's OCD. I can't help myself.
And you have like 40 cats, but it's still clean
That
as like shit.
too.
Even the cats are like cleaning the counters after themselves. They're like, Mom's gonna get mad.
That's actually very true. If I sit something down on the counter and it doesn't belong there, my cats are like, no.
I've been on that sofa too. It's very clean.
I know what you did on that sofa too. Now it's not as clean.
Allegedly. But today we are talking about reinventing yourself, and I love your story that you're very open and honest about.
Yeah.
You know, here in LA, we want to present the smoke and mirror version of ourselves,
Yeah.
where we're always been successful and we always will be successful. We never have a bad day.
Yeah.
But really sharing the story that has gone viral. There was a documentary about fan site content creators that you were a big part of.
Yeah.
But talking about literally being homeless,
Yeah.
coming to Hollywood, I want to know, what did you come, like what inspired to be like, okay, now I need to go to LA, even though I don't have much money in my pocket.
Well, I had money in my pocket, so that's what people don't understand. Is
You didn't have LA money, which is like $1
Well,
million just to afford a one bedroom.
I had like 16 grand saved to come here, and then like 2 days before I left for LA, I got a DUI. So if I already had my apartment and everything, so I had no other option. I was like, I'm going to LA. I'm going to have to make this work. But I also didn't have a job. So that's where porn came in pretty quick for me and kind of like saved the day financially. But yeah, it was... It saved the day financially for a quick moment, and then my credit score went down so low that I was literally homeless, and nobody would give me a place to live because I had shit for credit. It was like 425 or something like that.
It's higher than mine.
Yeah, so
I thought it was like your IQ.
I spent like a good year and a half just like going from like friends' couches to Airbnbs to
Into
like
your
a
car.
hotel. When my car was my everything. Yeah. And then that broke down also, and then I was really screwed.
But here's how important, like, living the LA dream and being your own self, because what our listeners might not know is you used to be in the medical field and you had a
Yes.
successful career going,
Yes.
but you knew, despite the money and all that, it just was not your passion.
No, absolutely not. And I had a glass ceiling there. The tip top of my degree I had and the job I was in, I would have made like $70,000 a year at best. And looking back now, like that's laughable because I made that in January, you know? So, it's like you turn the tables, you know?
And let's talk about turning the tables, because we know that we've been in a struggle, and especially lately, I don't know why lately, there's such a struggle about the stigma of sex workers.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, with the fan sites, kept a lot of people alive during COVID, paying the bills.
Yeah.
But why everybody's watching adult content, but there's still this kind of pushback, and then be like, oh, well, you know, it creates bad lives for the performers. But you stand here as one of those most successful business women I've ever met in my life.
Thank you.
And I truly mean that. It's not just for the show.
Yeah.
You have really created this empire from doing this content.
Yes. I mean, I will say I definitely know how society tries to kick people down that are sex workers, and it is very bothersome to me when I see, like, you know, recently on Nugget, they've been posting pictures of girls who are like, oh, I didn't go to college and instead I became a sex worker and now I bought a house. And people are like, go through the comments to see how people feel about that. And it's just, oh, but she doesn't have a dad, or like, she, you know, but what about your parents and things like that. And it's like, it's just weird to me that as an adult, I'm not allowed to be sexual as a female and have a good relationship with my family. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Well, can you share a little bit about your relationship with your dad?
My dad is my best friend. He's been
Truly.
on my podcast, which is a sex education podcast, multiple times. He is one of my biggest supporters, and not because I'm a porn actress, but because I'm a successful businesswoman. He looks at my career in the long haul. He doesn't look at it as like, oh, my girl has sex on camera. He's like, my baby girl is a badass and she's doing amazing things. And he knows who I am at heart, and he knows that it's not, you know, I'm not going to gangbangs in my off time. I get paid for that, you know? So
I'm not even asked to them on my off hour. I'm not even asked to them like in the dead of night. I'm like, can I come in? Nope.
Actually, I do not prefer gangbangs. That's a total lie for me. But I've done one. I'm like, oh, I will try anything once. But it's the OCD for me. It's the too too many salivas and spits, and I don't even know what else coming in my direction.
But you've gotten to that point in the industry where you can call your own shots now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I book everything all on my own, and I say my talent, and I say what I'm going to be doing and what I won't be doing. And yeah, there's no boundaries crossed at this point.
Now, even with that success, I know that even recently, certain situations have put you in a difficult position for being a sex worker. It's like, oh, well, she's not welcome at the table, things like that. But you also have this whole career of success in the comedy.
Yeah.
You're headlining.
Right.
So even if you get like a bad comment like that, how much does that like affect you more than the positivity of your
It definitely
career?
does. It sets me back a tiny bit, but like recently I auditioned for a mainstream agent, and I had to like shoot a like mini commercial in my kitchen, and I had like no time to do it because I was flying out that morning. And so I submitted this thing, and I was just really worried about getting the words correct. Like that was my only thing. I was like, fuck the acting. Make sure that you say every word exactly how it's supposed to be said, right? So I submitted it, and he denied me. And my buddy was like, no, I'm going to talk to him. Like, he doesn't understand what he's missing out on. I was like, you know what? It's fine. I don't need the guy to like me. Like, I've built up my own success from here on out. So when I sell my show to HBO, he's going to kick himself, and then I'll feel great. So
there you go. Hello, HBO. Just don't forget about us,
I never could. Never could.
Because I'm too loud.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to welcome the lady of the hour. I'm so excited. Is Courtney Stodden one of the most misrepresented personalities in the media? She's an American media personality, a model, a singer, and a songwriter. After competing in beauty pageants in their home state of Washington and releasing original music, the then 16-year-old Stodden came to international attention after being wed to 51-year-old actor Doug Hutchinson. The controversy and media attention surrounding their marriage led Stodden to appear in the reality show, television shows, Couples Therapy, Celebrity Big Brother, later appearances on Reality Ex-Wives, The Mother-Daughter Experiment, Celebs Go Dating, and Courtney. Having recently come out as non-binary, they have an tell-all book on the way. Hello. And new music. They have a lot to say, so please welcome Courtney Stodden. Gorgeous! Gorgeous! Now, right before we get down to it, right off the bat, what is the biggest assumption, if you could pick one assumption out there that people have about you that is totally false, that you wish people would just understand right here and right now?
I am a very sensitive person, and I think that a lot of people, when they've seen me, when I was introduced, I was a child. So I had a child's mind, and I was dealing with a lot of adult situations, and even placed in a situation where a lot of adults can't even really comprehend the weight of. So I think there are many misconceptions about me, but I think that maybe I'm not a person and I don't have feelings, and I wasn't a child when I actually went through a lot of exploitation.
Well, and there was no handbook. It was like, okay, now you're in the media circus, literally a circus. There was nobody holding your hand. There was no handbook. There was no how-to guide. I mean, you could even enjoy, like, going to prom. You could even enjoy, the simplicities. I mean, when I was 15, 16, I was watching Star Trek movies and going to conventions, and that was, like, my drama, right? And that's what you were having.
Made me snort. That's too much.
Did you snort?
I did.
That's usually
and
me.
I had septum surgery for it, and it didn't work.
I love that you can just snort, though. I just love it.
It won't go away, so I just accepted it.
It's usually me, though, and people are like, nah, he's a snorter.
Oh, my God, twin flames over here.
Yeah,
What?
we're twins. Look, side by side. Who can tell? Now, you've done so many interviews. People are asking you the same questions over and over, and even doing research for the show. Media can be very rote. And it's like, oh, well, we have to answer this. Like, does anybody do research? Does anybody care about the person they're actually interviewing? So I want to know, what is one interview question that you were totally done with if you're going to scream if you have to answer it one more time? It's probably what you just asked me.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that.
What if that's it? Like,
what? I think it is. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, that's such a general freaking question, but like even celebrities get that, like where do you, see yourself, because when you're a reality star, you can do so many other things. And I think that question is, I hate answering that question. So please don't ask me that.
I won't. But that is a question we actually got many times from some of your fans for this episode, is they wanted to ask.
Me?
No, but I think
I love my fans. I mean, they have been so freaking supportive and I mean, staying with me for a decade is insane to me.
But I think there's been this resurgence of this kind of question because during COVID, I think all of us questions like, where the hell am I going to go after this?
Right. I don't think anyone knows where they're going to actually be in 5 years. You can make a general assumption, but you have absolutely no idea.
You really don't. And I just think that question is so, I don't know. Ugh.
Well, it's like when you're a kid and people are like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like,
Right.
bitch, I'm in kindergarten. What do you
thought
think I'm
I
going
was
to be?
I thought I was going to be a police officer.
I didn't see that. I wish I could be with a police officer. That's like my life goal.
Same.
But it is kind of a silly question, but it kind of makes you think as, there's no clear path. And like I said, COVID kind of put everything to a stop where we had to think.
Who is anybody anymore?
Well, that's exactly right. And before COVID, I think we were all frantically going in so many different directions just to keep up with the Joneses, to keep up with social media, to keep up with the bills and all that. And so we were forgetting that, hey, we have a long-term goal. And we were kind of, I felt stuck, like doing the same thing over. I'm like, oh, COVID made us take a breath.
Well, my long-term goal changes all the time.
And it should. That's how people evolve.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you hit one goal and then you're like, okay, well, I guess I shoot for something higher now.
I mean, I love the pandemic. I was like already in like quarantine before quarantine. Like I'm just like an introvert. So I feel like I was such a professional at like 2 years. Well, it's so hard for me to come out of that.
Yeah. Well, and one of the questions we got was going into COVID, officially and legally being broken up, was it a good kind of sanctuary to be like, I don't have to deal with people and I have an excuse not to deal with people? Or was it kind of lonely in that even no matter what breakup you go through, there's still that person's not there and it's like it was final right before you went into COVID?
I finalized my divorce after I think it was 2 years of trying to get myself in a place where I could really go through with it. Yeah. And he didn't want it.
Of course.
Well, he traumatized me, and seeing the way that Kanye is actually dealing with Kim right now,
disgusting.
She has the means to kind of do her own thing. I didn't. I actually took his bankruptcy on. I gave him money. I just finished a reality TV in the UK, and I gave all of that money to him. I was really in a fragile place because I was, exploited at such a young age by this man. So I literally had nothing afterwards, and my credit was actually really bad too. So that story kind of would hit home.
So why do men get a free pass? Even like Kanye, like we're all laughing at him now, but he still is getting a free pass.
I'm not freaking laughing. Yeah. And I think there are some people that aren't laughing and actually feel for the situation.
It's a scary situation. I fear like for their actual safety for Kim and for Pete. I mean, it's like a very dangerous, toxic situation. The fact that he's hiring people that are Kim lookalikes, like everyone knows.
Strange.
Yeah.
I think it's very
There's
abusive,
mental health issues.
but at least she has the
Yes.
means to
have security.
There are so many people in the world that don't have the means to get away from that.
Did you ever feel like your safety was in question?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, constantly.
Well, you had it coming from your own camp of having that fear, but also the fans. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, have you ever felt like Britney? Like when Britney was at her top, we all loved Britney. Then the minute she had some issues, we all were like, oh my God, crazy Britney. Oh my God, let's get rid of Britney. And then we're all free Britney. It's like, bitch, you were just making fun of her 2 years
Saying
ago.
she was crazy.
Absolutely.
And if she were to come out with new music and it's bad, you better believe everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, that was bad. Britney's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, well, are you a fan or are you not a fan? So you had that fear kind of even coming from your own fan base.
So much. I mean, my version of a conservatorship was actually, I was a minor and I never really wanted to do reality TV. I never saw myself doing reality TV, but I felt groomed into it because he didn't have money. And that's a misconception too. People thought I married him for the money. He had nothing. I was the breadwinner. I was the one making the money. I mean, he would refer to me as the golden goose, and that was my version of the conservatorship. I would be sent out to do shows and he would collect the money. I didn't have any access to it.
That is insane.
And that is like literally, going through that and then hitting the pandemic.
Right.
It was just like this time where I just completely went into myself, like, which I still am, and I'm doing the work.
Right.
Well, and being able to tell your story from your own point of view in this tell-all book coming up must be...
That's exciting.
It must be emotional to have to relive certain parts of your life.
It really, really
and then to sit there and rewrite it and then edit that and to have to like go through that. But is it also cathartic to be like, you're finally getting the story out?
At times it feels that way, but I'm the kind of person that likes to run from my feelings. I like to put on a poker face every day and not really face it. It's easier to do that, you know, and
Well,
it's
that
hard
comes
to
from-
go through writing a memoir, and especially stuff that has caused you so much trauma. And so right now, actually, to be completely honest with you, I am in a really fragile state still because I haven't really processed it all. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to do this book. I'm going to process it all. But it's really, really hard.
But are you excited for people to hear your side and to get your version of things, though?
I'm excited to help other people. I'm
Yeah. I
think
excited
that's
to
the biggest thing.
offer that support for other people who don't have that platform. That's what pushes me to do this. It's not myself, and it's not a narcissism where I want other people to hear my story finally and, you know, whatever, you know.
It's not a revenge book. It's for
Right.
you.
Yeah. Well, it's for me, but it's also for other people as well.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, you've kind of had to be a trailblazer for other people, such as like now we're aware of abuse that can happen even when somebody's not next to you with the Kanye situation. Now people are like, oh God, you know, people in the limelight can be taken advantage of, like Britney. And it's like, bitch, I've been through that. Like, yes, I know.
I know.
But it's like now,
I know.
even
I'm so
mainstream-
happy she's free now, but I know that she's experiencing things for the first time, and she finally probably feels really independent. I'm really happy for her, and I wish her so much love because I know what it's like to feel like you can't do something with your own shit. It's so difficult.
There also has to be that kind of fear that when you're finally on your own, you also don't have the stability. Almost like when people get out of jail for many, many years.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm free. And then they
What
freak
do I
out.
do?
What do I do? Who
Yeah.
am I?
Yeah.
What do I do for work? Even nobody knows me who I really am,
Right.
and they make assumptions. Is there that kind of feeling where it's like, shit?
Yeah.
Well,
and
it's-
you are a
yeah.
different person when
Yeah,
you get
you're right.
out, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that you could either let it define you completely, or you can build and do something about it and do the work. And, you know, but every day isn't easy. There are days where I can't get out of bed, you know, and I think that you have to offer yourself that grace because you
Oh,
know
for
that
sure.
you made it out, and,
Yeah.
you know, every day is a blessing and a gift. And I think that, you know, it's really, really, really important to be easy on yourself, but also be your own fighter.
100%. And I think, again, from COVID, we kind of learned that if you don't want to get out of bed for a day and you want to watch TV all day,
Don't.
do it. Who do
Yeah.
you owe shit
Fucking
to?
Right.
stay
Exactly.
in bed.
You want to order Postmates
DoorDash
3
is
times?
there
Yeah.
for a reason. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
use
but
it.
now we're like, after COVID, I'm like, oh, my DoorDash is still on my face. 3 chins later. Anyway, but talking about how you were kind of the golden goose, so to speak. What a lot of people don't realize the extent of your entertainment career before you hit the public eye with the marriage. You were in the pageant circuit. You had done a cable TV show. You had released music on your own. This is what you came to the table
Love it.
with at such a young age. So
Yeah.
even you were kind of in that entertainment machine.
Yeah, I was Miss Ocean Shores for my city when I was like 14, and you know, I always loved singing. I had a lot of different really promising opportunities lined up. I was very into that, and then, you know, I was groomed, and it went into a completely different direction.
But what did you learn about the business, being in it and being successful so young? And I'm talking pre-marriage. Like, what did you learn about the business that you still use today? Like the pros of being in the business so early.
For me, I mean, you know, my mom was a very supportive mother, and she was very creative, and I had that driving force behind me. And I think that, you know, I just have always really loved, obviously, singing, and I was, you know, releasing albums and things like that at a really young age. And I just have always loved creating, and I love acting, but as everybody knows, it went into a completely different direction, and a direction that I didn't have control over, but I ended up succumbing to.
Now, when you were first getting into music, who were your earliest music inspirations? Like, who were you listening to?
Well, I grew up in Grace Harbor, and that's where Kurt Cobain came out of.
Nice.
And I always really loved, Nirvana, and so, I think, and the area that I came from is a very small, dreary place. I mean, Kurt Cobain has talked about it, and I don't think there's really been anybody else to come out of that area other than me and Kurt. So I don't know how they feel about that. It's just a very depressing town, and so I was always very creative, and I fell into that, just music. I've always loved music. But I think Nirvana was really a driving force for me, which is funny to me.
So is that the style of music you're in now? Is that the genre?
Courtney tweeted me at one point.
Oh, I love it.
And I don't.
No.
She called me a slut and a whore.
No. Oh, no.
And I was 16.
Oh, my God.
Just, I think she was replying to Sky Fiera or something. It was just so funny because oh my God, I love Kurt.
Oh my God.
Did you kill Kurt? What is that?
That's so shitty though. To say to a child anyway, that's ridiculous.
So let's talk about this. We know that
A segue for you.
No, it's a perfect segue. In the very recent times, socially and politically, a lot of our community has suffered. I'm talking about the LGBTQ community. I'm talking about minority communities where people have lashed out at other communities with hate crimes and hate speech. And then we're kind of out of it, but are we? Are we supposed to forgive and move on? A number of members of the entertainment community, including Dr. Drew, Anderson Cooper, Joy Behar, Courtney Love, and of course we know what happened with Chrissy Teigen's messages and tweets telling a teenage girl to kill themselves in many different ways. It's only recently that it went kind of viral and made headlines years after the fact. Number one, how does a teenager recover from being told that? It literally leaves me speechless.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
are we supposed to forgive and forget so we can move on? Or at what point do we say, no, I'm not going to accept your apology, which I know you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a loaded question. That's like a whole podcast in itself. But
yeah, it's a really heavy question.
in fact, I'm going to pour another.
You know what? I was going to ask if I could open this.
No. But I think, this last holiday, a lot of us were able to go back to our families after spending a couple of Thanksgivings or Christmases away.
I'm actually going to go in and...
Oh, please, girl. But then after being away from our families, we're sitting down at tables who might have different political views. Mm-hmm. They might have different views about COVID. They might have wildly hateful things that they've done on social media or messages they've sent. Mm-hmm. And are you supposed to join hands for the sake of the family and to move on?
Yeah, I will say that it was, Chrissy Teigen's basically stalking me when I was a child. It was unprovoked. There was nothing that I did. I never spoken with her before. I've never met John.
No, you did provoke it because you were in the spotlight and she wanted to be in the spotlight.
Well, she was. Right. And she was my age now, I think. And I could never imagine saying that to a child.
But you don't think it came from a place of jealousy?
I am not going to speak for her. I don't want to say
You're so kind.
that.
Like, you being so kind is...
Well, I think
that
that's the way to be, especially in this time. I mean, people are committing suicide left and right. People are jumping out of freaking windows and committing suicide, and it's right under our nose. And I think it's because some people aren't kind. I mean, for me, I did try to commit suicide after Chrissy Teigen was DMing me these things. It made me feel worthless because it was adding on to how I was treated by the world. And I mean, I know the show is a happy show. Fuck, I'm gonna cry. But it was really hard for me to deal with. So it's a very hard question to answer.
Well, as teenagers, if we all think back of who we were at 15 and 16, and you're excluded because you were in a whole different realm of life at that
I
age.
didn't go to prom.
I mean, but you were like in the cameras, you were in the headlines constantly. When we think back, or I don't know what you're experiencing, you came from a small town. I don't know what your 15, 16 years. I know what mine is, like I said. We're dealing with our own body issues. We're dealing with our self-esteem issues. We're dealing with who the hell
true.
are we?
Yeah.
I can't imagine for me to have been able to overcome that with having this kind of hate speech.
Oh.
And then having the media not even have your back. It's like now it's a headline.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wouldn't have been able to. There's no way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. I'm in therapy right now for a lot of things, and the book actually provoked therapy for me.
Good.
Because it's just becoming so much. But yeah, I think that I don't know. Chrissy, I heard that she's sober now, which is great, and I think that that's awesome for her. But
it's not an excuse, though. I mean, I've done things when I've drunk. I don't think I've ever told anybody to kill themselves.
I've never told someone to kill themselves, when I'm drunk. But I think that it's kind of her hopeful saving grace right now for everything.
Well, and we have to look at, certain people are being called on their past actions.
Right.
And then at what point are we like, oh, well, that was them 10 years ago. Does it automatically forgive them? Or if we don't hold people accountable, these actions will happen again. To your point, suicide, especially during COVID, was on the rise. Is it because people like Chrissy have not been held accountable? Like, no, you can't just issue an apology, which you never got personally, by the way. It was an apology that was issued in the public realm. Chrissy still has her blocked from social media and has never reached out to her personally. It's just out there. That's not an apology to me.
I was going to say, the thing that I think it is I think that you can mess up in your past, because Lord knows I have.
Yep.
But as long as you can own up to it and apologize and be the bigger person and look at it and go, I really screwed up. I wish I would have never said that. That was me at 25. I have obviously evolved in my thinking process, and I really regret that. That's one thing.
We're all human.
Right,
I think
exactly.
That it starts with humility, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And is she upset that she did that, or she's upset that she got caught and lost contracts?
I mean, I believe that it's because she got caught, because my fans were talking about it for a while, and I know that she's seen it, and she only issued an apology to the world when it started to affect her.
Right.
So.
And I mean, not to dwell on this topic,
but I you know what, I forgive her, and
like I said, you're a bigger person than me, because and if I was a parent of a child that I lost from this kind of bullying, there's just no excuse.
That always runs through my head. That's really the thing. There's so much innocence out there, and there's so much.
And
negativity,
she's a mother,
bullying. She
That's
was my
exactly
age.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she was she a mom when she was doing. I don't know. I think she was 20. She was my age. I'm not sure if she was a mom then, but
yeah, her kids are pretty young.
I do wish her a lot of healing and love herself, because I know that she's gone through her own stuff, obviously.
Right.
Like I said, that's a bigger person than
yeah,
me.
usually only people going through something crazy are the ones
Are
lashing
spewing
out.
that, yeah.
I only lash out at random people on the internet before I have either gotten high or worked out in the morning, and I know I should not ever be on social media.
I hate working
Bitch,
out.
I could bench
one
press
of these
you.
two
That
things.
is why my ass is so flat. I don't work out. I'm like, fuck this.
But it's like a tension release.
I'll just
for
Photoshop
me.
it. That's what everyone does, right?
Right? Yeah.
Whatever. Sling it back.
We have a little behind the scenes here. Courtney prefers flat-butted men. Is that even a term?
Flat
FBM.
ass.
If you're an
Flat
FBM, you
bottom.
slide into her DMs, FBMs.
Flat bottom men.
FBMs in my DMs.
Yeah, a flat bottom
Hey, maybe
man.
that's like a future single.
It's a new AC/DC song, right?
What celebrity do we think has the flattest ass?
I don't know.
I recently met John Stamos, and it didn't look that big.
Yeah. He's older
There's
though.
nothing
so I
wrong with
can-
John. I'm not going to believe that. Not in my Full House
I'm
fantasy.
trying to say that there's something right with it.
Yeah, but I will say he's older, so men do lose the mass.
They do,
in age though, because it starts to like sag down. You know.
You know how daddies are real popular in the
Yeah.
gay community?
Yeah.
Not with this one. I'm like, are you scraping the floor with that thing, sir? So I don't want to believe John Stamos has a flat, because he was in, remember when Full House he played the guitar and be like, burp, burp, burp.
I want to believe he has a flat ass because, like, I still think he's sexy, and like, if people think John Stamos is still sexy with
The
a flat
flat
ass,
butt would
then
really
there's
make
hope.
him. Yeah. Even
I would
more.
say Rob Pattinson. I would assume he has a very flat ass.
You think
Okay.
so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
because he's English and doesn't look like he does squats a lot. I don't know. Don't you just get that? Like Edward Cullen is like the flattest ass vampire out there.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's off on a tangent.
A flat ass is depressing subject. Can we move on? Move on.
I
Move
love
on
it.
from the subject.
I love it.
But if we can talk about, we just keep going into these subjects, but it's so important for us to talk about in this kind of way because, this is what we do at happy hours. That's not a flat ass. Is that John?
Was that John
Yeah.
Stamos?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with John.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
I looked at it.
And you didn't.
Oh, of course not. I mean, he's grieving Bob Saget right now.
Oh.
True.
Let's give him a few months.
That's the best time to pick
I'll give him
somebody
5
up,
minutes.
though, is when they're grieving.
Right?
No,
'Cause
They
he's
don't want to
gonna
be
be
alone.
comfort.
Yeah.
Boop, boop.
It's the comfort fuck. That's what it is.
I'm the only idiot that watched John Stamos' Greek yogurt commercials for different reasons.
You just have them on repeat.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'll give you Greek yogurt.
Fucking sicko.
Oh my god!
That was so
Ew.
inappropriate.
Ew.
Wait, flat asses are not you, but Greek yogurt? Okay.
No,
okay.
I love a flat ass.
Not to bring us back to...
It's like a guy has other priorities, God.
Well, we're from different communities, so... but let's talk about body issues. Here's the thing. As a youngin' in the industry, everybody was always commenting on
You're
your
talking about
body.
me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Still comments
Then.
about your body.
Yeah.
Focus has always been on body. And I'm sure you get so many compliments like, oh, she's so sexy. And obviously you are. We love your photo shoots. We love your Instagram. But there always has been that focus on your body. And I know in your industry, obviously. What kind of pressure does that also play in being your true self? Like, do you ever feel that you can relax and order a pizza, or you can relax and wear sweats someday? What kind of constant pressure does that body issue?
For me, it started when I was a kid. So I had a child's body, but I was being treated like a woman. So it
And you were
really
bullied because of it.
Well, it really created a lot of body dysmorphia, and I, like, even in my marriage, it was really weird because I hated being naked when I was young because I didn't want to look like a child, and so I had such a panic the very first time I had intercourse, like at the Chateau Marmont penthouse.
God, that was your first time? I was on the floor of a trailer.
Was it with an adult, or was it
I mean,
two consenting adults?
He was 18, I was 15.
It was a flat-assed
So-
18-year-old. That's not her life.
Yeah, I was 16. He was 50, and I was
At Chateau Marmont.
with a movie star, and I was Marilyn Monroe, all this
Yeah.
shit.
Wow.
But that has to really play with your
but
mind.
I was hiding in the bathroom before. I was in there for 2 hours. I
Oh
think,
my God.
maybe just crying. I was so because I look like a kid. And
And if you're a
so it
decent
started
man-
then.
If you're a decent man, you know that your partner feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, back the fuck off.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Well, in a normal relationship, yeah.
But did you feel like in love with him, so you were ready to give that to him?
That's one of the
because you
biggest
had
questions I got was there some actual love there?
Right.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, by the way.
That's
but
an
I'm just like,
interesting. Yeah, that's an
We got this
interesting.
many different ways.
It's an interesting question. I mean, my therapist and I went over this a lot, but I feel like I thought I was in love. I was kind of put into a position where I was a kid in love with someone who I thought was, it was like this Disney thing. It was really weird. And, finding out later who this person was, and, he after the divorce went through, he started talking to a 15-year-old online. He was going
What?
to marry her.
What?
So I think I thought I was in love at
Right.
16 with somebody who was, I thought it was kind of like maybe John Bonet, God. So that's my conscience coming.
Yeah,
John
no.
Bonet.
Yeah.
What is that that couple? John.
Yeah.
What is that couple?
I don't know.
There's there's like 34 years difference.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, but
I mean, honestly,
Bo and
I'm so bad with names.
whatever. But I thought it was just like this, you know, like a reminiscent version of that, and I really like bought into it.
Every 16-year-old thinks they're in love with their boyfriend.
Thank you.
Though.
Romeo and Juliet is not a love story; it's an
Right.
infatuation story.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was 15 and I was dating a 25-year-old. Not nearly as the same difference, but it was just like you felt special that they picked you because they could be with somebody older, but they've picked you. You do feel like you are the chosen one and you're special. And you're right, you were groomed. You were a child with a grandpa. I mean, honestly, he could have grandchildren.
He's old enough to be my grandfather.
Absolutely.
But it's funny because we look, and I'm coming from the gay community.
Ray and Jaleel and what is God? It's so long.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Ray
I
and
know
Jaleel and
exactly.
John Benet. Oh, God.
No, stop saying that. we're gonna get Googled for a different reason. We're like, what? But you know, it's very interesting because in the, I love that you snort. I just love it. Only people like me snort. I'm like, seriously? I snort for flat butts. But in the gay community, age disparity is not such an issue. And over the last few years, it has really become a non-issue. And you'll see much older gay men with the young twinks, and it's like, oh, okay, we know what's going on.
A lot. I have a few friends.
Yeah, and so it's kind of assumed. But when we're talking about, like you said, the young age, we're so impressionable, and everything is love. We have a favorite band, and we have the posters all over the wall.
So when I get that question, I don't know really how to answer that.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like it should be assumed. I think maybe like a kid. It's a kid.
Yes.
Like, how can they be in love with a 50-year-old?
Now,
Right?
from the other side, do you think he was really in love with you?
He was in love of the control of her. That's what he was probably in love with. The fact that he could control what she was
you
doing.
You did further
Control
his
the
career.
narrative.
But there's also a lot in his past that he went through. I'm not making excuses.
No, but this
there
is an important part of the
something to make a
conversation.
sociopath,
Right,
okay, or
right.
a psychopath or whatever. I mean, there is like, you know, I don't think a baby is born fucking crazy.
Do you
I
feel
think-
like empathy towards him?
I think I feel empathy towards everyone.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to like cut that off.
You really, and you exude, and if you ever meet her in person, you'll feel this kind of energy. It's just this sweet energy that you have. It's very positive.
Aw, thank
and
you.
we have to remember that people who commit certain crimes or abuse have usually experienced that themselves. And we're talking about from his generation, there was not therapy.
His
the
fault,
way
yeah,
that we
is
know.
that he
never
won't
got the
work
help
on
that he
himself,
needed.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, he won't work on himself.
I don't know.
So he'll do it again. I mean, he did. He tried
Yeah.
to marry another minor after I left him.
Yeah,
So-
I have a child abuser, and I feel no empathy for him whatsoever. I would be totally fine if someone chopped him up into small pieces and lit them all on fire. So, no empathy.
Allegedly, we don't need Law and Order coming in here and be like, somebody disappeared last night. And you're like, I was working out.
But he was a multiple offender. He offended like multiple girls. And
Why
did
do
it
men get away
constantly,
with so much shit?
including his own sister? He was molesting
Well, they're
his
not
own
though
sister.
anymore. I mean, I think it's turning slowly. I think it should be turning a lot faster.
I think it is a slow
but-
turn.
I mean, you know, even in the gay community, of course, there's so much stuff that happens, and I think that it's so important to shine awareness on this for everyone. For
There's just
everybody.
so much shame around it. Then it's so silly. It's like, I know you probably feel ashamed for how some of the things turned out, and you shouldn't. It's not in a.
I really
it's not
don't.
A shameful.
I don't feel ashamed.
You don't. Good.
No.
Well, that's
no,
You
I don't
feel
feel
like-
ashamed. I think he should be ashamed.
Of course.
I don't,
yeah.
but I don't.
1000%.
I don't feel ashamed.
But the
at all.
media-
I feel strong, and I feel
Good.
weak at times too. But I don't feel ashamed.
Good.
I love that because the media did try to put you as the aggressor
Right.
in this young marriage. They try to put you as, oh, this gold digger, shameful.
I think people who are abusing a child should be the ones who are ashamed.
Right.
That's what should happen. But I'm saying that wasn't there when this was all happening. So for you to have still come out of that
You're right.
resilient and positive, it's almost a miracle. We got some questions about your mom. your mom was your manager in the early times. Like, she was your manager up until like 2015.
Right.
Do you think it was a benefit? I mean, not on the same level. I was doing musical theater, but my mom was like, "Sing out. Here's your headshot. We're going on this audition. We're going to LA." I have my ups and downs with that because my mom and I are like, "Boop."
Yeah.
And you had early success, like I said, and your mom was your manager for that, and then you guys parted ways. How did that kind of affect your future relationship with your mom?
I just spoke with her like an hour ago. I
Okay.
mean, we had a conversation. We're definitely in a place that is a lot better than my father and I. My father disowned me completely. I feel like he blamed me for a lot that has happened since the marriage, which is crazy to me because he's the one that gave away his minor to...
I don't think he probably didn't realize how much of his privacy he was giving away. In terms of like your whole family has been in the spotlight since,
Well, my mom and him divorced, and I think that he blamed that on me. I mean, in that he went to my childhood home and threw away all of my tapes from my first birthday, second birthday, third birthday, fourth birthday,
Oh
and
my
so on.
God.
Up until 16, he took them to the dump and threw them away.
Do you have siblings?
I have 2 older half sisters, but I
Right.
grew up basically like, with my mom. So my mom and I are really close.
Yeah.
We're like, she was always that driving force behind me. She wanted me to do what I wanted to do. She was very supportive, but I think maybe in ways, obviously, she wasn't completely aware of the outcome of things. And I think that is something that I don't want to speak on for her. I think that that's something she should speak about.
A lot of the questions we got were questioning your mom's motives and allowing the marriage to happen.
Right.
But also knowing a mom's energy is like, how can we make this work? How can it benefit Courtney in the long run? So that has to be playing in your mind.
Well, of course, if I ever become a mother to a little girl or little boy, whatever, I wouldn't allow it to happen. That's all I'm gonna say
Yeah.
about that.
Lessons learned, of course.
Yeah.
Do you think your mom was maybe a little naive to it all, or?
Yeah, I think that I think that my mom was also in a place where she felt that I was going to be taken care of.
Right.
I mean, Doug was really good at not only grooming a child, but also grooming a situation around the child.
A manipulator knows how to manipulate
Yeah.
everybody from the cashier at the grocery store
Exactly.
to the hotel concierge to a close friend.
Ted
to-
Bundy passed a lie detector test twice. I mean, come on. Like,
Right.
I mean, Doug is really good. I mean, there isn't, just a reason because he's good at acting is why he succeeded. I mean, there are many different, avenues to success, and I think that he's really, really good at being charming and manipulating everybody around him. And that's the case. I mean, and for me, I also have empathy towards my mother because she really did believe that he was going to be everything that he was showing to be.
I think it really goes to
And
your
to
point,
show
it's
the
like-
world. I mean,
Yeah.
the world, like, whenever I would be out with him, he had so many fans come up to him and just love him. And they're like, but I hated you in your movies, because he plays this antagonist. But I think now, looking back, that is him in real life, is what he's portrayed in his movies.
And there is that allure of, media, whether it's good or bad, and the flash of the cameras. And, there's that allure.
I never knew that this was going to happen. I woke up one day 6 months after being married to him, and I was all over the place, and I was being called all these different things. And, I got a lot of, like, the new Anna Nicole, and I grew up watching the Anna Nicole show.
Hello. You're so outrageous. Yeah.
Yes, I love
We all
that.
rooted for her, too.
Yeah.
We were all her. We wanted to hang out with her. We wanted,
Yeah.
we didn't want to hang out with Howard.
Right.
But we wanted, or Bobby Trendy. Sorry, Bobby.
Oh, my mom represents Bobby Trendy.
Did you
Which
have
is
like?
funny.
It's so luxurious.
That's her client.
We love Bobby Trendy. Bobby Trendy Designs or real estate or bingo, whatever he's doing now.
I actually think he might be watching right now.
No, I'm just kidding, Bobby. Bobby and I see each other in the streets, and
He's doing real estate right now. He's really trying.
Did you have like a PR company to like help you kind of
No,
combat some
nothing.
of this?
No,
Oh my god.
you guys were everywhere. You were on every outlet. Every celebrity was talking about you. Every magazine was featuring you. There has to have been that
I would
moment.
walk in the grocery store and like I'd have to like before standing in line, I'd have to make sure that I had someone with me rearrange the magazines.
Oh,
So I could check out and not be like,
recognized.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, anxiety because I deal with a lot of anxiety and
Yeah.
it was just really I never expected any of it to happen.
But that
It was
early age-
overnight, like literally overnight.
But was there part of you, and maybe I'm just talking from my own experience, but like, God, if I was in all these magazines, I'd be like, yes, I love it. Was there any enjoyment from that kind of
I think if it was
focus?
like a glamour mag and I looked really great and it was for like Vanity Fair and it was like this praise article, then yeah. But when you're on fucking covers of all of these mags and they're
And they
saying
choose
that
the
this
worst
and that,
pictures.
this and I mean.
But we've gotten your glamour shots as of late, and especially with your new music.
I try to pick those out because I think I deserve them now.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You really do.
Thank you.
But you're beautiful, glammed out, or not glammed
Yes.
out.
You haven't seen me in the morning. I've never let anyone see that.
No, you. One of your last posts on social media was like, "No filters. Here's my dots for my concealer. This is who I am." And I'm like, no, but I love that you're sharing that because you are a spokesperson for people out there that are trying to live their best life and have suffered abuse.
Well, I think Instagram is really toxic lately. Twitter, like
All social media in general
all
is so
social,
toxic.
yeah. I
mean, look what's happening
because
with
of
Ukraine
filters,
war. It's like,
period.
we're fighting with our own family members about something that should be just common sense.
I
But
think filters are really damaging. Honestly,
Oh.
I mean,
saved my life.
Yeah.
It's funny, the people
you
that
caused me so much depression.
I'm
Then if
so
you're using
sorry.
those, I'm like, it's so beautiful. No, you're beautiful in person, but like with the filter, I would believe it and just be.
Oh, I actually kind of love the filter because I have to film like 24/7, and I'm always like, it's kind of nice when if my face feels like shit, I can just throw on.
I
that
love the
beauty
filter. I
filters.
get it,
Yeah,
but I
and
do
I'm
see
like,
both
oh.
sides to
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and it can be. I mean,
it just gives a false expectation out
most
there.
of
Yeah.
most of the influencers I met in person, I don't even know it's them until
Yeah.
after.
That's exactly right. And it does set that for younger girls, it's like, oh, this is what beauty is.
Younger boys too.
Yeah, younger boys.
Everybody.
LGBTQ community, like, oh, this is a gay man. This is a successful gay man. It's like, I'm not taking my shirt off, filter or no filter, but like, no, but it gives that kind of like image out there.
Yeah.
So Courtney, we have to talk about this. You recently came out as non-binary, stating, this is your quote, "I don't identify as she or her. I've never felt like I ever fit in anywhere. I was bullied horribly in school because I was different. The other girls never understood me. It got so bad that my mom pulled me out of school, and still I don't fit in. My spirit is fluid." What I have come to learn is that non-binary means something different to everybody, as it should.
Yes.
Because as it
Yeah.
dictates fluidity, so does a role you take on. Me being a gay man means something different than somebody else saying that they're a gay man.
Right.
So I want to know, from your point of view, what being non-binary means to you.
Yeah. I categorize myself as high femme because I don't.
Me too.
I don't portray as, hyper masculine or anything like that. And I get that a lot. I get a lot of, like hate comments from different people who are like, well, you don't look like a man. You don't look non-binary. And to me, that's not what it's about. It's about on the inside and how you're really feeling. And I think that that's the main problem too in the world and socially. People don't really, they just are taking things at face value lately, and it's really, really damaging and toxic, honestly. So I identify as high femme, non-binary. I prefer my pronouns they, them. That doesn't mean I don't represent as a woman also, and that doesn't mean that I do not also align with feeling like a man as well in moments.
If we could clip that is probably one of the best definitions I've ever heard of what being non-binary means.
Yeah.
I think it opens it up to a lot of conversation for that kid out in the middle of nowhere that doesn't have this kind of representation. That's like, that's me. I'm not this or that, but I'm part of this. And a lot of
Amen.
comments we got. And some of it's, a lot of it's actually from the LGBTQ community, which I find can be as damaging as any other community in terms of inclusivity or being
Depends on how you use it.
or letting people like be who they
Yeah.
are, because the comment is like, you present as very feminine. We celebrate your feminine side, your body, everything on social media, and so that I'm very glad that you said that. I think it was very beautifully put.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank you. I mean, that's just the truth. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
And there's also this kind of empowerment, being objectified as a young girl, being objectified as a wife. Now you coming out with your book, your music, as this is you,
An individual.
woman or not.
An individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm really
Drink to
excited.
that one.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna pour ourselves
Low
another
credit
round.
scores, girl.
Yeah. Right.
She's like, what?
I got it fixed now.
I'm still working on it.
I love this conversation.
I just
so
went to
much.
Versace and it lowered it. So I was like,
Yeah.
We're going to pour another cocktail. I want you to pour another cocktail, too, because we are going to watch the video for Pleasure.
ooh, yay.
And I want to know, before we look at it, tell us the inspiration for this song.
Okay, so I was in a place where it was the pandemic, right? And I'm fucking feeling really awful and I'm trying to like start a book and get into everything. And one of my best friends who is very creative also, and we do music together, was like, you know what? You need to do a song. Like, come on, do a song. And I'm like, ugh, okay. So I was living out in Palm Springs for 2 years, just hiding, like under those freaking.
That became my second home. We
Like the
should've hung out,
mountain.
girl.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, were you there?
What part of Palm Springs?
I was in. I was right by downtown, pretty much.
Like by arenas with the gays would love you.
Yes, I
Yes.
was there all the time.
Girl, so was
I went into all those shops looking at Speedos all the time.
Gay
Like
bar, yes.
I'm not like
Fair wear.
I can't wear them, but like maybe I could.
You can try. I wouldn't mind. so
But
funny,
no,
we
I
were the same-
love Palm Springs.
Yeah.
You just go there and get away.
Talk about an energy of inclusivity. It's like
Right.
whatever you want. It's Palm
Yeah.
Springs, and then you can wake up at 10 and like go to the bar.
or 12. Is, you know.
But I'm saying is like they open early, and then you
I
buy
always
like
slept through that.
oh, girl. I would be the one calling you. You in Palm Springs? We're up. I got 10.
Yeah, I'm a
Oh my
day
God, I would
drinker.
hate you.
I love day drinking. So
Yeah.
then you
I
go
don't- I
buy
don't-
you
I
buy
don't do
6
that.
drinks, and then the bill comes and it's $9. It's like
Oh my God.
I'm not even kidding you. I'm not kidding
It's
you.
really, yeah, it's a steal there.
That's crazy.
Okay, so we're gonna watch Pleasure. But before we do, also, I want to know, you have peppered years. Like there'll be a year you come out with a single. There'll be a year that you don't. What inspires you to be like, now's the time for another song?
You know, I think it has to do with my listeners. I mean, I get so many people that are like, they're gone for a while and I feel alone. But then all of a sudden they start coming back and they're like, where's a new song? Like, why did you take this song down? And I am like the king of taking fucking songs down. Like, I'll put something up and then it gets all these streams and I freaking remove it because I second guess myself like
Yeah.
a Virgo. I mean,
If I
that's
was your
just who I
manager,
am.
PR rep, I'd be like, what are you doing?
She's right there. She's like, what are you doing?
That is so crazy to me. I'm
I
like, if
constantly
one
second
picture
guess
I post
myself.
gets like 100 likes, I'd be like, bitch, that's gonna be my tombstone.
I delete stuff I tweet all the time.
It was
Because
true.
I tweet really like
So do you do
shitty
the same
stuff.
thing? Like you
Yeah.
regret it or like this isn't a good look.
Yeah.
It's not getting enough. Like, and
I'm telling you, if
I'll,
I do anything
But it's
before
part of the
weed,
story that your public
what
needs
you
to
do
see.
anything what?
and if I do anything before I smoke weed online, I'm usually like a evil cunt, and so I usually tweet something really awful, and then I get high and I'm like, oh, that was bad. I
I'm
gotta
the
take that
opposite.
down.
I'm the opposite. I'm really nice when I'm sober, and then when I start smoking, I'm like,
Oh,
fuck.
really?
I start thinking about everything, like every single fucking thing that could go
Our next
wrong.
episode, we'll be smoking weed.
Right.
Do we say weed anymore, by the way? Somebody said don't say weed anymore.
Why? What am I canceled now for saying weed?
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, but because it's such like a
I
dated
knew I was
thing.
gonna get canceled. Just like Chrissy. Oh my God. Without a book. It's coming out. God.
But weed is supposed to be like so dated, like You're not cool. You say weed.
Oh, really?
Then
Yeah.
I guess I'm not.
What are you
fucking
supposed to
cool.
say?
I don't
Yeah,
give a shit.
I don't know. Marijuana?
Grass.
Is that cooler? Yeah,
Well.
who knows?
Grass.
Your ex probably
Yeah.
says grass. He's like, well, let's get some grass. I can't afford it right now.
He couldn't afford McDonald's.
Looks like he can. That's so mean. And I'm a big girl too, so I'm not going to say that. Anyway, I'm so sorry. This snorting is giving me life. Let's take a look at Courtney's pleasure and pour yourself a drink because we have more to talk about when we come back.
This is so funny.
I could wrap my mind around it if you let me undress on my fears. Lay me down and tell me about it before I left the neighbors here. 'Cause this could get loud and I could get personal. It's 6 a.m. don't know why I'm still into you. Make it like my first time. Oh, was it my birthday? 'Cause it's going down, 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 down like a mayday. If you're looking for trouble, then you're in the right place. You wanna play for pleasure? Well, I know I'm the right game. Maybe you love me, and you'll get me to stay. I could make a mistake. You make me go, ooh, ooh, pleasure. You make me go, ooh, ooh, pleasure. I tell my friends about it if I back out in your paradise. No coffee in the morning, I'll just keep you up all night. 'Cause this could get loud and I could get personal. It's 8 a.m. don't know why I'm still into you. Make it like my first time. Oh, was it my birthday? 'Cause it's going down, 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 down like a mayday. If you're looking for trouble, then you're in the right place. You wanna play for pleasure? Well, I know I'm the right game. Maybe you're lucky, and you'll get me to stay. I could make a mistake. You make me go, ooh, ooh, pleasure. 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 I want to scream into the white light. If you beat it up like fading lights. Sweet, sweet, dirty sound all over my pretty mouth. Ooh, ooh, pleasure. If you're looking for trouble, then you're in the right place. You wanna pay for pleasure? Well, I know I'm the right place. Maybe you're lucky, and you give me just stay. I could make a mistake. You make me go, ooh, ooh, pleasure. You make me go, ooh, you make me go. You make me go, ooh, pleasure. You make me go, you make me go.
I loved it.
The textures, the camera work, the lighting.
The outfits, all of it.
You must have had a really strong creative team.
Absolutely.
From the director
And-
to the
and
lighting.
they're all really good friends. I keep a really tight circle.
Nice.
And you know about that too.
Yeah.
Once we meet good people in LA in
Yeah.
entertainment, you keep them close because hard to come by.
Yeah, I mean, Alexei, the director, is from Russia.
Oh, nice. I mean,
Right now.
How many hot
I mean-
topics should we do today? It's like,
mean-
my God.
I love Russian women only because they're so strong. Like, I fear a Russian woman. Like, she will put you in your place. So
Well, let's
I'm
hope they
like,
storm Putin's house.
Well,
Alexei
don't feel
Figurov,
like-
though, he was the director. He's great. He's actually here in the U.S. right now, so he's like.
I don't feel any hate towards like the regular Russian population. It's not like their fault their leader is like attacking.
I could say something totally controversial.
He's a
but-
genius, though, right? Trump said.
Oh,
What are you
right.
gonna do?
Yeah.
It's freaking IQ.
As he held his two
If
his two
Trump
hands
said
on the
it.
ground,
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
with the Bible on his hand.
Yeah.
But to that point, the German population during the Holocaust and all that was not like,
Right.
like
The Germans.
during World War
I'm
II.
German. Ugh.
No, but what I'm saying is like,
don't like
we
being
shouldn't hate the
German.
Russian people, but do something.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. No, absolutely.
They're still trying to get toilet paper, but anyway.
Weren't we 2 years ago?
right.
Oh my
You
God.
remember that?
That's totally
I was like,
right.
I'm gonna do
Yeah.
to take a shit.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
guys,
got like
Courtney
paper
does
towels, like in a line. It clogged my plumbing.
No.
It's ridiculous.
But I want to talk about somebody else from that video. You really do talk about overcoming obstacles and being triumphant. Can you talk about your hot co-star in the video for Pleasure? So if you're listening to this, you have to go watch Pleasure on YouTube. Hot co-star, can you tell us a little about his journey?
Yeah, the Creek Man. He is an awesome freaking guy. Like, I have known about him for a while prior to the video. But he went on a significant fight for himself, for his health, for his confidence. And I really loved that about him. So I reached out to him and I asked him to be my co-star in the video. He fought so hard. He went from a really high weight. He felt unhealthy. He felt like he wanted better for himself, and that's just him. That's speaking for him specifically. And he followed through with it, and there you go. It's a Creek Man. now.
Wait, why is he known as the Creek Man? What is the story?
You need to have
behind
him
that?
on the show, man.
Okay,
He's
okay.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You need to have
Done.
him on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about the creek.
I know. I'm like, was he like living in a creek?
know about the creek.
Is it his butt creek?
Was he a man?
He's obviously not a flat butter.
Was
Oh my God.
That's the thing about him. He didn't have a flat butt, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I should have a flat butt.
I love that, even
He's
though
a
no one
flat
believed
butt.
in me. I feel that all the time. I'm like, I had to be my own cheerleader 100% of the time.
You
There's-
have to be always
yeah.
because you can't rely on anybody else. They're going to let you down,
No.
period.
And I mean, I have my two careers as a stand-up comedian and adult film actress. No one's going, oh yeah, those are really smart career moves. You should definitely do that.
Especially,
You know?
especially
So,
family,
like,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
family. You're probably
Well,
not.
her dad.
My family is actually super supportive outside of my mom. So yeah,
Your mom's not supportive.
she's super religious and Trumpy. So yeah, we just don't have the
So
same
is my
views in
ex.
life.
So is my ex.
As you take her in a limo, as you take her on vacations,
Yeah.
like as you're like, oh no.
She'll soak up the good shit.
Oh
but
no!
then-
Recently, she
yeah.
like when I went home, she was like saying something about like, well, maybe I just need to get a loan from you, and I wanted to be like,
Oh my
I
god!
actually did.
Then let
just-
me remove all of your fucking
Yeah.
gratification.
I actually did just give her like a short-term loan, and they paid it back pretty quick. But I knew that she's now going to be asking for like a lot more.
Why
money.
would she accept your money? If
Well,
she
that's
doesn't-
another. That's another. Well, that's
It's
my
just
next
so
point. Is like,
gross,
why would you
right?
want my money if you think everything I do is disgusting? Like,
It's hypocritical.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
I
She's
have
all.
so much to say about
I'm
that.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, she,
You know,
it's one of those things.
It's
where it's just like,
family.
yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit, because you and I have personally talked about when you're on the comedy circuit, some comics treat you a little bit differently
Oh,
than
yeah.
others because your
I'm a
routine
less than.
talks about your routine, and the audiences love it.
Yeah.
You're
Oh
obviously
yeah.
very talented.
Audiences love it because I'm giving a true recollection of life and I'm doing it in a funny way and making it relatable. But comics hate me because they think I got the easy way in. They think that for whatever reason my name is a big name, which is true, and so it gets me into bigger shows. Also true, but it's
You
not
hang
that
out
I
with Tommy
didn't-
Chong. Hello.
Right, but it's not that I didn't work for that name and for that title,
Right.
and so they think I just got bigger stages than I ever deserved, but I did, and then I worked really hard to make sure I stayed on those stages, and people knew I deserved to be there, you know. So, but I definitely am viewed as like less than in every category of humans I am around.
You're not though. It's
Right.
insecurity from everybody else.
Oh, 110%. It
You
doesn't
know?
matter if I'm around
Period.
people from my high school or if I'm around other comedians or if I'm around family. Not that my family is not there for me, but we definitely don't talk about my job. We can't, like it's just like a non-spoken thing. So
Why do you think they can't talk about it? Is it because the kids are present?
yeah, there's definitely some kids in our family that still don't know yet. We just haven't had the conversations with them, and that's gonna be a difficult point, because they're all teenage coming around.
I'm sure they've watched some of your stuff.
I honestly think
but that's 100% true.
I mean, I was coming on the show and I almost watched something.
Yeah.
So I can imagine if I was like a teenage boy.
I'm gay and I still watch it. I'm like, there she goes again.
I think probably some of my older
You almost
nieces
got a
and
snort
nephews
there.
do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, or at least know what it is. But yeah, it's definitely treated like I'm a less than a human in a lot of situations.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, it is. But
What you
It's
talk about
fucked
on your
up.
show, Sexy Funny Raw, is talk about sex early on.
Yeah.
So that you don't have this weird stigma about it. You can
Yeah.
be educated about it.
Yeah.
And you can make wise decisions about it.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. And I also, there's another show that's like one of my favorites, and we've had them on as a guest. It's the mother and son. They talk about sex, and they have a mother-son sex podcast, and
It's so crazy.
it is amazing, and I
How
love
old
watching
is the
it.
boy?
He's in his late 20s.
Okay, good. I was
Yeah.
like 16.
And his mom is in her 60s.
Yeah.
Or he might even be in his 30s. Cam might be in
Yeah, I
his
think he's a little bit
late
older.
20s, early 30s. And his mom's in his 60s. And they do a whole show about sex. And I just love that because I don't know why adults can't talk about sex.
But I grew up in that kind of household. Like, you
It's
just
crazy
did
to
not.
me.
Is it religion?
It was religion.
like
It was
it's
also Orange
religion.
County, and it was like a certain generation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not telling my dad like, oh, it was like amazing, like 30 minutes from behind, like but those aren't the conversations that we're having. But I do want to be able to have the conversation with my dad
And
of
we
like,
should.
yeah, of,
Destigmatize sex.
yeah, just that I had sex with this man, at the end of the day. Like, even I feel ashamed even telling like my mom, like, well, the date went really well and I fucked him. I would never say
I
that.
wonder
to
how
my
you were
mom,
born.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How did that
funny.
happen?
And you know what's funny about
Yeah.
that mom-son
was it like at the
podcast?
door in a basket?
You're right.
The Grinch taught me something.
A
I
white
love that
dove
movie.
came down, and then we had Christmas.
You're right.
Flew down in a basket.
Girl, she was at
Yeah.
the bar one night. No,
One.
no, the one in Bethlehem. I'm talking about the. But no, but we're talking about the mom-son podcast.
Yeah.
You would think that the son was the one who's like, here's sex, whatever.
No, it's
the
mom.
is the one that's
Yeah.
like, she lost her husband, and she decided, hey, I'm going to empower this. Dating, YouTube, everything. She became the star. So the son is the one that's like,
He's so scared and
He is
he's
so
like a
funny.
nervous. Yeah, he's like he hasn't even had sex in like 2 years, so they still they're still like talking about how much he masturbates, so but it's like
Really quietly.
yeah, but it's like it's
while
just,
watching Jeopardy, he's like, because she couldn't cut that answer.
it's just making it not
Men only
shameful.
make noise during sex when they feel like the woman wants to hear it.
But it's
I
the
mean,
worst
honestly.
sound. It's like
They're
they
like
need-
professional silence.
Or they just do this, like, meh.
fuckers.
Yeah.
It's like,
Meh.
did you say something?
Is that how
Yeah.
you met? Got it.
Meh.
I like a little something in my ear from a man, even just a groan.
Yes.
or
Yeah,
a
but men are the
grunt,
worst.
I
know?
like a lot of whisper.
a
If I don't
whispering,
have enough
yeah.
of whisper, I don't.
So you're like into ASMR then? If they start doing like,
Well, she doesn't
welcome
want him
to
to.
Fantasy
I
Island.
don't want them to
No.
be like, yeah, cut, pour the tea.
You're right.
Are you
Tea
staying?
bag in the cup.
Are you staying for breakfast?
I'm a tea bag now.
Oh my god!
That's not what I want.
Somebody's gonna clip that, Courtney, and they're gonna post it all over like, Courtney. But Courtney, also like the assumption about reality TV, like reality TV is some like bad world to be a part of. You have been part of reality TV history through so many different
God.
iterations. I have to say,
know. I mean, I watched Dr. Proctor. Does everybody know Dr. Proctor
I
right
don't.
now? Oh my God, you're a lady. You don't know Dr. Proctor.
No.
Ugh, he's so cute.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta
So
get on
anyways-
is he for my people or for your people?
I think it's for everybody's people.
Non-binary.
People. No, he's fantastic. But I followed him and he DM'd me and said, "Oh my God, you are like reality TV gold," and I was shocked.
But you knew that you guys kept getting.
Nobody knows
asked to
Dr.
be-
Proctor.
I don't.
No,
Thank
there
you
go.
for putting him up. He is like a national heartthrob
Girl.
right now. He works on.
I want your next crush to be like
Is he a plastic
like a
surgeon?
newborn.
no,
like-
he's a bariatric surgeon. He
Oh,
works on
okay.
like people who are really obese.
Okay.
sexy.
He's really hot.
Does he have a flat ass?
But you know what? I'm engaged. I'm very happily engaged.
Wait, what?
So
Well,
you didn't see the
I
ring?
didn't know if you wanted to
no,
talk
girl.
about
I did not
Well,
see
the ring is
bling
on,
bling.
so-
Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, congratulations! by the
Okay,
way.
so-
Trying to give
yeah.
it some justice.
Yeah, you should.
So now we're gonna talk. But first, I want to address the whole reality TV as being bad. No,
Right.
reality TV has been one of the most profitable sources of media
Oh my God, yeah.
in the last 10 years. And I know when you go out to public, when people ask you to do appearances, like, oh, I'm with Courtney Stodden. So isn't it a little weird that people also say, like, oh, well, she's a reality TV star? It's like, yeah, star being part of that.
What do you mean?
It might have a negative connotation, but
Oh,
you've
yeah.
made, like,
Made a lifestyle
everybody
out of it. Yeah.
But everybody watches reality TV.
I think I'm just so dissociated now from everybody's feelings about me. Like, I really don't care anymore.
yeah.
Would you do another show?
Absolutely. If I felt like it was something that was truthful, something that really made me feel was showcasing what I went through, who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely wouldn't ever do something that was scripted
Sensational.
or exploited.
But like,
But I
as an
would do something to
inspiration.
open up myself to other
Yeah.
people. Absolutely.
Girl, I opened myself up to so many people.
Oh my fucking God, right now. Oh my God. Do you have more alcohol? It's just like
It's in your flask, by the way.
Fuck.
Okay, so we're gonna end the show
Oh my
talking about
God.
this engagement because I also got this question. It's
Yes.
like, is she single? People under a rock. But also, is it hard to date somebody like Courtney because you have so much stigma about relationship, marriage, dating? I'm not even gay, but I mean, I'm not even straight. Sorry.
Wow.
That was weird.
I was like,
You never
what?
get around straight women. It's
Wow.
like, oh,
So you want to
You're
fuck me?
not even
Is what you're saying?
I mean,
Is that why you invited me on here?
I just need to know, do they have a flat bottom? Does the...
I don't. This one's breaking the chair.
He actually did when I met him.
Uh,
And then now he's preparing for like a fitness competition. So he's getting a bubble butt.
ruined it.
Fucking ruined the whole thing.
Is it hard to date Courtney?
Yes.
What do you think some of the
Absolutely.
biggest
Apparently. I get told that all the time.
what are some of the biggest challenges you had when you guys first started dating and then like progressing this relationship?
Well, when we first met, I was separated and he was also separated. So I think that we kind of felt like we had the other part of ourselves in the other person, right? Like to kind of pick ourselves up and feel
And somebody who could relate to you. What you're going
yeah,
through.
but also there was just kind of like this kindredness about it that I felt was really awesome, especially in LA, you
Yeah.
know. And he's not someone who's in the media. He's not, you know, he does his own thing, which I really liked. And I think that, you know, it's been 5 years now. I mean, he's helped me through so much. I mean, through getting away from my situation. I don't think I would actually be away from my marriage if I hadn't met him. I think I'd be dead, actually. I mean, I think about that all the time, and I have therapy about it, and I don't think I'd be here. So I'm really grateful to him, and I think that right now it's really imperative for me to start working on my independence. And, you know, I'm studying real estate right now, and I'm about to get my driver's freaking license at 27. I got my
Don't
permit.
bother.
I got my
Don't do it.
I know. You know what? I know. I'm gonna Uber anyway. I don't care. I smoke too much weed, but I still.
Honey, I haven't driven in 4 years and the courts love it.
I still want want my license. I think that it's something.
It's a
that-
freedom.
It's a step in a direction that
Every
I
time
feel
I'm
like.
can we hang out? I'm like, okay. Do they have? Can I Uber?
You don't hang out with him? What's going on?
No, we
because
do
I always have to
hang
Uber
out.
everywhere. 'cause
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
You have to.
Well, anytime I hang out
The
with you,
courts.
it's an Uber needing situation anyway. So
I think she's just being probably like smart.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your engagement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can you tell us about the proposal?
I mean, it wasn't that crazy. I mean, we were in Palm Springs. We went to, I think it's called Melvin's. Is it Melvin's? Melvin's, yeah. We were in Melvin's.
So you know the history Melvin's has in Palm Springs.
Nobody knows about Melvin's
No.
other than Frank Sinatra's ghost.
No, but honestly, it looks like a flash from the past because like it hasn't changed.
Okay.
Every Hollywood star has been there.
Yeah.
I used to go there with my grandma, and we would go there. Liza Minnelli would be there, and she'd put the dinner rolls in her
No
purse to take
way.
home because they're so good.
Are you kidding?
But it's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Melvin's is Hollywood. That's
Yeah.
actually very
The owner
romantic.
just died a few years ago. I
Oh,
was
he's
really
still there.
sad.
He's just living amongst
He's
it.
They
playing the
talked about-
piano.
Yeah.
No, but we went there and then we went home and we were fighting like we always do. And I was crying and I said, "I'm done with you." It was a breakup, and then he
Break up into an engagement.
Oh my God, Courtney. That's gonna be the next book. Oh my God.
Seems like a solid foundation.
On
That's
that note,
he thought it was a great time to propose because he said he'd never leave me ever.
yeah. Well, you know,
In the kitchen.
barefoot.
God. Well, that story took a turn.
Did
We're all
he
like,
have the
it's
ring?
Disney, and then it's like,
Wait, Courtney, did he have the ring with him? Was this a prepared thing?
He actually showed me.
oh God, maybe we should.
Let's end the show.
And that's a wrap.
This is live, yeah. For more details, check into Courtney's tell-all book, and there's going to be another chapter added after tonight called "In the Kitchen with Dinah." Ladies, I have had so much fun.
This is great.
And here's the thing, is like, we had such a great time talking about some serious issues,
Yeah.
and this is what we should all be doing. We shouldn't be
Yeah.
afraid to talk to our friends about things that are affecting us. We shouldn't be afraid to challenge our families, to be like, I need this from you,
Yeah.
or you're not my family.
Yeah.
And we should never skip an opportunity to say thank you to those that make us feel like family and support us.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Like you two ladies tonight.
Absolutely.
Such a great time.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you so much for having me.
we're going to have part two. We're going to have
like
part
tonight,
two.
because I want another round.
We'll just send you home with
You'll
a
get
bunch
a
of-
lot more
Yeah.
juice in an hour.
Well, West Hollywood's doing twerk night. I don't know. Oh, but it's only big butts. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It literally is twerk night.
No
at one of the
flap
bars.
asses to slide off a seat.
Yeah, real popular in
fun.
West Hollywood. Oh, that's the Republican log cabin. Anyway,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Courtney, tell everybody where you want them to find you and follow you.
Follow me on my Instagram, instagram.com/Courtney A. Stodden, and then also my Spotify. You can find me on Apple Music, Courtney Stodden.
And please
Beautiful.
download. There's so many singles that are just like, And we actually see
You're
your
so
journey.
sweet.
No, I'm not.
I should do more.
Didn't you listen to
music.
that man that I met in Palm Springs? I'm not sweet.
No, I didn't know you then. If I did, I'd be all up in your grill.
Have a big butt.
Never mind.
So, I'm just laughing. Like, this is so fun. So, yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at the Sylvia Sage. You can also find me on YouTube, my podcast, Sexy Funny Raw, on all streaming sites, and OnlyFans.com, Sylvia Sage /
Ooh.
XXX.
I'm not promoting mine.
You can.
I'm not.
I just love how Sylvia lowers her voice. When she's like,
And
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.com.
I
like
know.
Sylvia Sage.
Nobody with a
XXX.
high voice can have an OnlyFans. I was like, I tried to have one. I had one subscriber. Mom was like, you go. I believe in you.
There's a lot of big butts on there, huh?
Yes. Anyway, thank you, ladies, for such a fun show.
Yeah,
Shout out to my mom, Mama Rose, at home, fighting a good fight. We're always about you.
Mama.
It's always a grab bag of fun here and On the Rocks. You never know what's going to happen. Thank you to our fabulous guest, my engineer, Tony Sweet, our social media clip editor, Alexis Mendez. Please like, share, subscribe so we can continue bringing this to you for free. Coming up, we have actor Geddy Watanabe from iconic roles in 16 Candles, ER, and Mulan. He's doing a musical here in L.A. We also have from CW's All-American Homecoming, playing the first black non-binary character on the network. Royal Ivy King is here. And then we have the master of the Great American Songbook, mentored by Ira Gershwin himself and bestie to Liza Minnelli. Michael Feinstein is here in person. So until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay sexy, and most importantly, stay tipsy. See you next Tuesday.
Adios.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.